Music production has changed so much and evolved so much since I began making music. It really started changing on the equipment side and the technical side in the early 2000s. Prior to that, we were always using 2-inch tape in major studios. There was no Pro Tools. It was not as easy to coordinate a session as it is now. Due to the advancements in technology, people began recording more in home studios and more in their own environments. Whereas before, we had to bring major studios, we had to bring in equipment rentals and all different kinds of things that, it was a much bigger production, I feel, back in the day. And now the equipment enabled us to do things a lot easier and simpler within computers. And now we have the luxury of having Pro Tools, Logic, FL Studios, Ableton, and all these different things that have made it easier. Even before we had to deal with 2-inch tape and reel-to-reel recordings, and even the tape costs within the budget for a major artist could exceed what the budget is for a whole project right now, just for the reel-to-reel tapes. I know you find that hard to believe maybe, but a major album used $50,000 to $100,000 worth of tape 20 years ago. And that was a significant amount of money, even more so than now. It was just a lot harder to coordinate everything. Now, with these luxuries, we can work anywhere. I could make a beat, technically in the car. I can make, a beat on a plane. So there's a lot of, shortcuts and advantages to now. Also, within the changes from then till recent times, people were required, I think, in terms of production, to have more musical knowledge on how to play instruments. And now with all of this technology, anybody can make music. Anybody can, use chord generators or samples and, things to fill the void of not having formal musical or training with music theory and, technique. So even for the artist, the ability to use auto-tune has enabled so many people to become artists that may not be the best of the best singers and, be able to still sound good. That made so many more artists. I feel like back in the day, to be in a studio, you had to be really, really special and had God-given talents and even within production, not only be able to have a ability to play an instrument, but an actual style that's unique within that. Also, the style of music now, I feel like there isn't as many options rhythmically maybe or stylistically. People were really pushing the envelope and pioneering new sounds. And I find these days, things live within a certain tempo or style with 808s or whatever, like rhythmically, like there's so many different things back in the day that we would do, so many different sounds, and everything was supposed to sound way different from the last thing, whereas now there's a certain familiarity that people like in the music and they're happy with it. And that has also, I believe, made a lot more producer surface as well, because they're kind of like listening to what's happening at the moment, and they all kind of go in that direction. So for me, I personally like to stand out from whatever's happening. I live within certain parameters of the sound, but I try and push the envelope a little bit and create something new and as fresh as possible.